This is my new East Oak digital electric smoker cooker, the deluxe model, the pro model with the glass door and the extra things like the meat temperature probe. And right now I'm doing what's called a preheat, and I have got my water tray filled up to the line, and I have got my smoker chips in here, my wood chips. Took a little bit of effort getting that back in, but it's in now. So my wood chips are in there, my water's in there, everything that I need to have in there. Doing a mix of mesquite and hickory. Starting it early. Got up early this morning. Got the brisket and the short ribs all dry rubbed and waiting in the fridge for the past few hours. So we're set on 45-minute preheat. I've got it set to go up to 275. And then we'll get to it. Well, I'm in my preheating stage for the smoker. I ran it for 45 minutes, and it's about time to put the meat in. I just heard the beeper beep, so we're up to a good temperature. I decided to run this fan to send the fumes out the garage door. I forgot to do that earlier, and I was upstairs and I was like, what is that smell? And I came down, half the garage was full of smoke. So we're good to go now. You don't have to use a fan if you don't want to. Some of you will probably buy this and use it outside. But today what we're going to smoke is, I've got about 3 pounds and about 3 pounds of brisket. And these both came from Aldi's. And then I've got short ribs here. And they came from our local butcher's market. I used a recipe for the dry rub for the brisket. If you go to the East Oak website, you will find a lot of recipes for cooking. Now, I went online and I checked internal temperature for brisket. Most everybody agrees about 205 degrees Fahrenheit is cooked. So I'm going to be putting the probe probably in this thicker guy here, and we should be good. Short ribs, they run about 195 degrees Fahrenheit for internal temperature for it to be cooked at. Again, this, I will put a probe in it several hours from now and just check what temperature is. They don't want you to open the door on this East Oak smoker because you lose a whole lot of the temperature that's built up in there. But if you're fast, that's okay. I've got my internal temperature meat probe set up and ready to go, and I will probably be shutting this down to put the meat in for a little bit. Probably don't have to, but what I want to do is reset it to run by the internal temperature. Alright, let's get these guys unwrapped and ready to go. We'll look at that. Oh, Getting ready to go. The reason I had these, the dry rub wrapped up in saran wrap, clear wrap, is the recipe called for these to be put in the refrigerator for between 15 minutes to 4 hours, and I put these in just shy of 3 hours. So it's time to put it in. And what's nice is, well, might be nice, it was okay with me, some people might be irritated, but then you're going to get emails from them because part of your warranty is giving them your email, and it takes you to a website which shows all their other outdoor living products, and I worked my way through everything, and then I saw a link called recipes. So I printed out recipes that they had included for various meats and fish and whatnot. And today I used their recipe for making the dry rub, and they give you instructions for how to cook it, and then your yield, calories, and all that good stuff. There's all kind of recipes there. Cured and smoked salmon, herb rub, smoked turkey. And look at this one. This is unique. Salsa with smoked vegetables and fruits in a smoker. And that's just some of the items, the recipes that are quite detailed that you can get off the East Oak website. Very good. Okay, it's in the holdover warming stage now, and you can see some of the smoking activity on the glass door. We're going to open this door, and you can see how your smoke and your heat comes out. Got to be fast. Okay, my meat is in there. The temperature probe is in there. I'm going to shut it up. Okay, like I was saying, I started over. I've got the meat probe in the thickest piece of brisket, and the internal temperature of the meat right now 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and we want to get it up to the 205. Right now it's at like 138. So on this remote you can keep track of your internal temperatures of your meat according to the meat probe, and also it kind of tells you what the temperature is inside the oven. We lost temperature, or the smoker, we lost temperature when we opened the door to put the meat in. That's just what happens. So your temperature settings and all that are here. 205 is what you're aiming for. Your meat temperature right now is 51, and the temperature inside the oven, inside the oven itself is 136, and our goal is 205 according to the meat probe, and that's what we have activated. All the stuff you do on the remote you can do right here: setting temperature, selecting meat probe, setting time, adjusting temperatures, and all that. What I have found out is to make sure everything is working correctly. you have to set a time as well. I could not get it to light up for working without putting an hour in. And the current temperature is 129, and of course, according to our meat probe, we can see what the temperature is inside the meat. Okay, it's been a while since I checked on things, and you don't have to be right by your smoker. You can have your remote here and check status. This is the temperature goal that you're trying to get to of 205, and the meat probe, press that button, it is at 60 degrees Fahrenheit. And the internal temp of the whole unit, let's go back to that, there it is, it's 152. So you can also see the hour countdown. It's not real clear in the manual, and you just have to kind of figure this out for yourself like I did, and that is, even when you set your meat probe and put that into your meat and have that plugged into the side of the device and say that's your cooking goal, and things are supposed to shut down at 205 degrees, things don't get started with the red light coming on saying working until you enter some hours in here. So because the recipe, as I said before, online said the brisket was going to take 10 hours, that's what I put in. Now, if you're cooking several types of meat, you need to pick the meat that has the highest required internal temperature, so a unit doesn't shut down while another piece of meat that needs maybe higher, you mess up. So by setting your probe in the meat that needs the highest degree temperature, then your others will continue to cook, and you can open the door quickly and use another temperature probe on them to see if they're ready. Now, I mentioned in my video before this, my unboxing and setting her up and tips and all that, that I was thinking about building myself a stand because I'm 6'4", and this puppy, you know, it only comes up to like my hip, and trying to get meat, I'm just not into bending over like that if I don't have to. So instead of building my own stand, I've been doing some research, and you can get these restaurant carts, heavy duty commercial carts, and you'll be able to roll your unit around and locking wheels, and the poundage maximum is way over the weight of the unit, and I'll be able to move it from there where the outlet is and roll it over to this storage area that I've already got set up for it. So that's an idea for some of your folks. The only issue is I'm going to have somebody help me probably lift that thing up. I don't know, maybe I can deadlift 50 pounds. Okay. For those of you who don't want to mess with the remote as far as status of what things are going on, your readout here gives you how many hours, your countdown. Right now it's 9 hours 24, and the internal temperature is 194 Fahrenheit. it keeps cycling through those numbers. So you can always just look at it that way. And if you want to check what your internal temperature of your meat is, here is the meat probe icon. You press that and hold it, and we're at 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, we decided to make some middle of the cooking modifications. We found a website, or at least my wife did, of guys who are brisket professional cookers, so to speak, and they recommended wrapping the brisket in foil to keep juices in. So we're going to do that with one and see how it tastes versus the one here on top that is not wrapped. And we shifted our ribs up to the very top rack, and the same website also suggested putting in a drip pan because brisket really has a whole lot of drippings while you're cooking. And just for the heck of it, I don't know whether you can see it or not, let me see if I can get close. We have put some sausage in as well. When you're smoking, economically speaking, it's a good idea to smoke as much as you can each time. Well, we started cooking at about, I think it was 10:50, something like that, and we've been in and out of this cooker, opening the doors twice. Well, it's been a little over 2 hours cooking there that you see, and the temperature's up to 203, and the internal temperature on the brisket is 163. Very good. What a nice thing to be able to do on Valentine's Day, is to cook all these goodies in here. Well, I'm looking forward to sampling them later this evening or tomorrow or whenever. Yum. Go ahead and turn the fan off just so you guys could see the amount of smoking that's evident from the vent. Some smokers out there, they do not have an adjustable vent like this, which is not the best option to not have. To be honest, I was intending on buying a charbroil digital electric cooker that I read about on the internet, but when I went to look for the darn thing, it was not available on Amazon. It was not available hardly anywhere else. The only place you could find the charbroil similar model like this was on eBay, and they were running around $400 a pop to $500. And I thought, ouch, I'm not going that route. And this East Oak digital electric smoker on Amazon and on the East Oak website, they're currently selling for like as low as $265. If you want to buy one in a dented box or used like new off of Amazon, you can pick this up for $259. So it's up to you. I was going to make a quick mention. I'm not that much of a perfectionist, but I do notice things when they're not exactly right. And this smoker, I don't know if you can see it, maybe, but this metal here is dented. It came that way straight from the factory. This is a brand new unit. There's not any real denting anywhere around on the side, so to speak. But back here, it came like this. But you know, I'm not going to send a unit back for defects that small. It's just not worth it. I already had this returned, as I talked about in another video. Amazon sent me the wrong model, then canceled an order, and so this is third as a charm. I finally got what I needed, and when I pulled it out of the box and saw that it was dented and whatnot, I said, forget it. I'm just keeping it. And looks like it's doing a good job now. No worries at all. Alright, we'll check back on this later. Well, I just got back from my Valentine's Day's lunch, and the internal temperature is 195. It's been running for just over 4 hours. And the internal temperature on the brisket with the meat probe is 172. Need to get that up to 205. So we got a little ways to go. We'll just check on her later. Smoking is not about quick. Not at all. I think it's worth reiterating something I shared in my previous video. The external temperature of this unit is what it's reading right here, and that's safe to touch. There's no problem laying your hand on that. And I've already checked, the temperature on the sides is about the same. And right near the door, that temperature is 100 and now we're on the door. It's like around up to 120 some, and the glass itself, oh, sorry about my fingers, I always do that. The glass itself, that's pretty hot too. You don't want to be touching that. Nope. So remember to make sure your kids or your pets or all your drunk friends don't get near that glass, because it will burn them if they're running around not paying attention out on your back deck or your patio or whatever. Just be careful. That glass is hot just like it would be on an oven in the house. Okay, our temperature set it at 10 hours, so just shy of 7 hours. Our temperature is 219 in there. I cranked it up a little bit because we got company coming to eat some of this meat. But as you see, the internal temperature is still only 159 on the brisket. But I believe the short ribs will be okay. So we're going to take those out and check those. You hate opening the door to get stuff out, but it's what you have to do. Okay, these short ribs, or as some people call them, dino ribs, they say the cook temperature on these are anywhere from 180 to 205. So we are at 175. Now I was also told if they're fork tender that you can easily push a fork in, then they're done. There's one guy that says he never cooks his short ribs above 130. So we're going to go ahead with this 177. They look pretty tender. They look like they're ready to go. And my lovely assistant is going to bring a plate over.
I'm going to wrap them to rest.
And she is going to wrap them to rest. We'll let these ribs rest and keep on cooking. The bone in the meat will actually keep cooking the meat. We have already taken out the sausages. They're done, but the brisket has a while to go. It is a slow cooker, and it takes a long time. But that's fine. That'll be for later. Okay, here's how the short ribs, also known as dino ribs, came out. Look absolutely perfect. Wonderful. Well, I just finished a wonderful dinner of those dino ribs and the sausages that we smoked and cooked in here. I just thought I'd check on things. So it's at 273 now. I cranked it up, and we've been running close to 8 hours. The internal temperature is 192 on that brisket, and that's good. But what I wanted to check while I was out here was see how many wood chips we had. Now, there is smoke coming out, but that doesn't say much to me of anything without looking. So I'm going to take this guy out. Let me go get a tool here to lift it up. This ought to work. See what kind of chips I've got in there. Well, there's a good amount of chips in there for 8 hours of use. That's not bad. You gotta kind of wiggle that thing up and down for it to go in nicely. So about an hour ago, I changed the temperature. I had it set for 205, and I changed it to 275 because I don't want to run this thing past my bedtime. And so hopefully everything will be done by 8 o'clock, and then internal temp on the brisket will be to 205. We're up to 194 after that slight change I made, so very good. The recipe book that the East Oak website had, or the recipe that was for the brisket, said to set her at 225 and just let it cook for 10 hours. But I wanted to use the meat probe method, and I set it at 205. So I would say for a good sized brisket, 3 pounds and up, you can put the meat probe in to keep track of what the internal temperature is. But I would set the temperature on this thing to more like between 250 and the max, so that you can get things cooked within more like 8 hours instead of 10 hours. Well, I knew that my brisket not wrapped in foil was 195, And I was curious what the one in foil was. So let's see. Oh man. 2039. That's right at done. Let's stick it in another place. 2028. And the third one is the charm. 2059. Nope. 2052. Man, oh man, look at that brisket. 205 internal temperature in 8 hours. We're going to let this rest for 10 minutes and then cut into it. Okay, I'm letting that brisket that was in the foil rest for 10 minutes. The current temperature is 260. Got a little under 2 hours to go, but I don't think we're going to need all that, because if you look at the internal temperature, we're at 199 and we only need to get up to 205. Here's how much grease is in the grease pan after about 8 hours. Okay, the resting phase on this brisket is just about over. The internal temperature on the one still out in the smoker is at 201. About 4 degrees to go. I cannot wait.
Long way. Short way or long way?
Across like this.
This
Go
one?
ahead, yeah.
You're sure?
Yeah, see how she looks. Oh.
It looks pretty good, huh?
I think it looks pretty great. You're going to cut the whole thing or just about halfway?
No, I'm just going to cut these 4 pieces, and we can all have one. And then we'll save the rest for another day.
A rainy day.
Okay, there we go. Looks nice.
Okay, we just devoured that meat candy, also known as brisket. Not the whole thing, but several slices. So we got the second one in here. Let's see where she's at. 204. That's close enough for redneck work. All right, let's get it out, boys. Well, there's the last of the meat. Looks good to me. All right. Well, the drip pan that we added a couple hours into the smoking and cooking, according to the recommendation of folks online, was a really good idea. I would not have wanted to have dealt with all of that inside. I've got the light turned on, and here is the results of having cooked for 8 hours. Here's a door that's going to be needing to be cleaned. And I'm curious what kind of amount of wood chips we have left. Whew, that's hot. Hold on. There you go. Nearly half. All right, that's good to know. Excuse me my sloppy videotaping, but that's the way I roll. Okay, so there you have it. We've cooled down over 100 degrees since I opened the door, and I'm going to leave it just like that. And thank you very much, East Oak. we'll go check out this other brisket. Take her on inside. Okay, here's the second brisket. The one that was not wrapped, that had the meat probe. And still looks pretty juicy. We're going to do a taste test later to see if we can see any difference between wrapped in foil versus not wrapped. But I doubt there's going to be any difference. Well, thanks for watching, folks. I hope you learned something. Happy smoking.